In the war of Baldur's Gate 3 control schemes, one tool alone gives PC players the superior game feel: the mouse. This little guy lets you equip items, target enemies with ease, order pizza mid-game session, and even kiss girls. So what if you ran it over with a car? Can you beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only the keyboard? Short answer: no. You can't even make a character without a mouse. Though if you follow a speedrunner rule set, the game actually begins after character creation, and thus our hero Zug Zug is born. Here's how I'll attempt to play out this one. The mouse cursor is locked in the center of the screen, and it will remain unplugged while I use only keyboard controls to play. I attempted to record the start of this gaming session using my professional $2,000 camera rig, though quickly realized you guys can see the mouse cursor on screen anyways, so pretty obvious I'm not actually clicking. For once, the tutorial level of the game is necessary even for me, as I don't know what I'm doing. Camera control is mostly functional, lacking just the zoom feature and a little bit of speed. I've rebound my movement key to be the enter button, and with these limited viewing angles it may be difficult to recreate the usual cinematic masterpiece I so strive to create in my videos. Upon meeting Lae'zel, the number keys can progress her dialogue to completion, and the first combat initiates. I'm on Explorer difficulty because this challenge is more of a is the game playable at all concept rather than proof of some amazing feat. There's not many actions available, but you can jump, you can attack, you can shove, and you can throw. That does appear to be the entirety of our offensive toolkit though, as opening the spellbook and relearning the powers within would require both a click and a drag, features most keyboards do not tend to have. And upon trying to release Shadowheart from the pod is when the first roadblock occurs: dice. In hopes of finding a hidden hotkey, I slammed every single button on the keyboard. But as ridiculous as it is, only a mouse can bypass this screen. There is one hotkey that works though, as hitting F8, the quick load hotkey, loads me out of that dialogue into the past. From now on, this video becomes can you beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only keyboard controls and without rolling any dice. The rest of the Nautiloid adventures are relatively normal. Transponder transponded via enter button alone. And on the beach I begin the search for Shadowheart. Jumping up the cliff, we do not recruit Gale because of the dice conundrum, but we do kill a mind flayer where I remember the next should have been obvious glaring problem. On PC, you cannot level up using the keyboard. In my initial excitement to attempt such a challenge, I clearly overlooked some major jank. On the brighter side of things, Starion's rolls can all be dodged via careful navigation of his dialogue tree, and Lae'zel's recruitment is complete via careful murder of the innocent tieflings nearby. With the gang all here, we're off to let Zevlor carry the Goblin Gate battle once again. These are about the best camera shots I could get. Makes me wonder, why is it that photo mode has such great keyboard controls, and outside of that I'm stuck using the exact copy of the ones used in Hello Kitty Island Adventure? Not a lot of content available in the Grove today, largely from the fear of awkwardly soft-locking myself into a conversation. Other restrictions found inside include buying or selling stuff, and changing equipment in general. After doing basically nothing, helping no one, and making zero impact on their lives, it's already time to head on down the beaten path towards Scratch, another band companion. Knew that would be the case, though the nearby tool house should be worth a quick stop. While mostly useless, gold is always at least spendable at Withers. Looting is made possible via the interact key and spacebar combo. But to my surprise, moving items by holding down interact and moving the camera to simulate the way a mouse might work doesn't actually do anything. Manipulating items with any precision is basically impossible. Proxy box tactics have died on this day. After taking all the gold within these walls for plans of giving it to Withers for his most glorious resurrections, a new thought occurred. How exactly would I go to camp? There is in fact no hotkey for long resting, going to camp, or waypointing at all. Only short rest gets a hotkey. If anything, the further I'm progressing here, the dumber I am realizing this idea is, which strangely is only making me more excited. The YouTuber special of talking to the goblins as a drow is out, and instead I execute a carefully planned bomb defusal method using my own legs. Upon interaction with the mountain pass's fake door, the pop-up boss appears. Windows XP trauma victims across the globe know the dangers of pop-ups, and that they need to be clicked. Yet against all odds, someone at Larian was looking out for me, as in this instance, the interact hotkey auto-selects yes. Starting out, I was about 98% sure that was gonna be the canonical ending, but it's clear now, God is on my side. Forced into camp, ever so briefly, I interacted with a campfire to escape. Like that, we're into the mountain pass. As both experience and items are entirely useless to this party, the only goal now is rushing the main story, a lot like the way a modern day game reviewer does. And with these controls, I'll probably match their skill level. Undead blocked the road, and at level 1, man-to-man combat ain't all that fair. Astarion instead uses his racial bonus of starting with a bow equipped, luring them 3 feet down the path. The zombies, all distracted, look away, as Zugzug enters hide using the C key. Unseen behind their backs, he heads toward the Act 2 entrance. Astarian's killed in no spectacular fashion, and into Act 2 we go, with that act transition conveniently reviving him in the process. The Shadow Curse lands bring with them the Shadow Cursed curse, where once again I am asking Shadowheart to carry this leg of the story. She alone can survive the journey to Last Light, dodging the Drider caravan combat trigger and reaching Jaheira to yap her way inside. Afterwards, a surprise attack on the Strange Ox is issued, turning everyone here into green allies, another of the game's many weird mechanics. Upstairs, a conversation with her Selûnite rival Isabel spreads the Shadow-Cursed immunity blessing, just in time for Marcus here to display his glorious wings. Time stands still while the rest of our party walks their way to Last Light Inn, and our only mission now, save Isabel. Tad bit tricky being level 1 with basic attacks, but with the power of infinite attempts, eventually Marcus is shoved away to the low ground, where he too is killed off camera due to my limited control scheme. With Isabel safe and the curse immunity obtained, the stage is set for our next obstacle, the Drider and its moon lantern. Our newfound Harper friends lead the way to the rendezvous site, and I have but one plan, a typical one. Running away. Without having dash, kiting enemies is a little annoying, as when I remain too close, the Absolutists slaughter us in seconds. Too far, and combat drops without them following. It's a game of pass the baton, where the baton is in fact our lives. Initial attempts at such a plan went poorly, but on this day, the God Run occurred. Lae'zel alone managed to kite them all the way to our Harper allies, even landed a killing blow on Betty, and once and for all, the Drider has been slain. A little finagling is done to find the pixel where I could loot the lantern, and the pixie dialogue auto triggers. This greater blessing is ours, and with it, the rest of Act 2 unlocked. First stop, Moonrise Towers. Was hoping to see if there's a way I could sneak up to the rooftop for a potential metagame of Moonrise. Did find a way to sneak up there, and by using turn-based mode, I could throw the skeletons to their deaths by spamming in and out of tactical view, until finding a viable throwing angle. I was pretty proud of that discovery, but the next one is even greater. After much time spent screwing around up here, I noticed that the escape button can function as a cancel action the same way a right click does. And as long as you can cancel a throw action, you can execute the insanely broken kidnapping glitch to carry enemies around. Most enemies are too heavy for my party to make much use of it, but it did help to get the rooftop clear enough to 4v1 ambush the spellcaster lady nearby. Her death means the rooftop is a safe haven for my party. The rest of Moonrise will be left to face an onslaught of cheese. You can attack anyone in Moonrise, run through this door, and end your turn without enemies ever taking it. It still works when Ketheric goes back up there too. Enemies continue to fall, while surprise rounds buy enough time to make it to the safety of the Death Door dance. For some reason, a few of these enemies bugged out and refused to fight back at all. They spam self-heals quicker than I could dish it out. To deal with them, I came up with this technique, where I swap characters in quick succession, managing to get off enough attacks where I out DPS their absolute bullshit self-healing. It's likely the highest APM gameplay ever shown in Baldur's Gate. These random self-inflicted challenge run puzzles easily outclass the crap fest that is the Gauntlet of Shar. And a few hours of genuine fun later, Moonrise is clear enough where I could walk right out the front door should I want. Which made me curious, can I rescue Minthara? Turns out, yes. On the easiest difficulty, she will heal you, and you'll likely end the encounter with more health than you started, despite being level 1 and only using basic attacks. Together we escape Moonrise, where she is directed to my campsite, a journey I myself can never make. From here it's off to the Gauntlet of Shar. Another short trip over a roof, a few paintings activated later, and we're in. Handled Balthazar in the usual way, by hiding from enemies, which automatically unlocks the door once combat drops. Then sat nearby waiting for the Sharan undead to do their thing. I'm glad I finally caught one boss's death on screen. Zugzug managed to complete the Sneaky Boy trial with relative ease. An Umbral Gem is obtained, though I cannot pick it up without it being lost forever within my unusable bags. Using throw, I repositioned the gem all the way to the patented Sharan gem holder, but alas, it was for naught. You can't socket gems without a mouse. And to be honest, I was pretty confident of that before I threw it here. My dreams aren't dead yet though. There's always another move in the Proxy playbook for dummies. If I could find a way down to that lower level, perhaps I could find a way to clip through the door. I've done it before, both as a cat and a slayer, though never with such limited controls. By again spamming in and out of tactical view to change the angle, a leap down is made. Short resting gets me back up off the floor, making way for a start of a new kind of hell. Welcome to the Sharan Door Dilemma. Viewers, let me tell you, I've got a history of struggling with doors in BG3, but this time is something special, for I spent the next 4 straight days stuck attempting to clip through this door. That's how unemployed I am. grab some popcorn, take a seat, and listen to the story of Man vs. Door. Day 1. Initial plans starting out are honestly non-existent. I figured just by spamming jump into the general direction of the door, it may lead to some bullshit happening. Such a thing has often worked before, obviously though not this time as there's 3 days left in the battle. I did however notice that it's possible to call down the lift to get allies also here, even without placing the elevator powering gem. Additional day 1 strategies involved trying to use allies to clip through each other. The only real weirdness that occurred was this random death, don't really even know why. Overall, day 1, not good. Day 2. Having learned of the lift and knowing I can throw objects, the new idea for this day was to relocate chests and use those to clip through like you can do with the Ball Temple. Gathering nearby chests was tedious, but at least possible. In the end, these chests granted no new power, and I can't even really explain what the hell was going through my mind during the second half of this day's footage. It appears I had a moment of insanity, and indeed rather amazing the keyboard survived this encounter. Day 3. After 2 straight days of failing to make any progress, I knew something needed to change. Today, the idea is chair shift, a rather unknown trick discovered by Decimus the Penitent. I attempted a proof of concept via his method using a mouse to demonstrate how it worked. When you have someone sit on a chair, then block all of the locations a character can get off from the chair while sat next to a door or a wall, they will occasionally teleport through said obstacle, appearing instead in the closest available space. A trial run by using the mouse on another save file worked, but it took a scientific crap ton of precisely positioned items. During this testing phase, I double-checked the keybinds in the menu, where I found that you could rebind the cancel button all along to another keybind. Having fixed that, the kidnap trick will now consistently work to move items using hotkeys. Unfortunately though, that tech doesn't let you position them with any precision at all, but I can at least obtain the chair necessary to perform chair shift in the nearby Shar kitchen, and maybe build a potential chair shiftable scenario. 3 hours of slowly procuring items went by. I started adding rats to the area after learning they too can block space the same way as an item. The scene here was growing so ridiculously weird to me, I snapped a screenshot asking viewers to guess what the challenge may be. And a lot of you somehow got it. You guys are smarter than those other YouTubers say. Maybe I'll continue that guessing trend. Much more finagling went down. And somehow through continuously kidnapping furniture, positioning and moving rats and my allies to block up spaces, it happened. I shifted right through the door. I am the greatest keyboard-only player of all time. I head into the Shadowfell full of glee, only to be met by this message.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Sadly, because I have no waypoint access, this too is a dead end. I can't actually enter the Shadowfell. Also, Larian, if this stupid lever doesn't actually open the door, why is it here? Day 3 too ends disappointingly in defeat. Day 4, the nonsense continues. More chair shifts are attempted from new angles. More rats join in. I even kidnapped a cat just to see if it would help. It took ages and didn't really change a damn thing. Nothing's working, and so I had a good long think. Is there any way to kick a companion out of my party? Something I don't normally do? And then I thought of it. Multiplayer. If I had friends, could I get them to join my game? Perhaps displace these NPCs on out of here? And could I do that without having to use a mouse? Now I'll be honest, my friends have lives. They can't just play BG3 all day like me. So I bought a new computer, loaded BG3 up on it, and ladies and gents, let me share my POV. The enter button alone accepts their game invitations, kicking the others on out of there. And I think after 4 days of struggling with the door, I at least can accept this. Finally, with the party gathered, I can make my way into the Shadowfell to set the Night Song free.
You have done what we feared was impossible.
She has no idea how correct she really is. But as the cutscene progresses, an unexpected twist pops up right in my face. The quest reward pop-up. The enter buttons never let me down before. It cleared everything else, and yet in this instance, it does not. All that struggle to get here for this. There is no way to close this pop-up, and my buttons all do nothing. The official canonical ending of a mouseless run is neither door nor dice, but a quest reward pop-up. You cannot beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only the keyboard, and I'm pretty sure everybody who clicked here already knew that. Though if anybody expected this to be the end, I would be surprised. So instead I ask, if I did click here and used just one click, how much further could I get? What other struggles will I find? And honestly, I'm enjoying this idea too much not to continue. On the laptop, I clicked exactly once to close the prompt, Then after saving and reloading, it cleared all the other pop-ups too. We say goodbye to Shadowheart permanently, then rendezvous with Jaheira's Harpers. A small confrontation on the main floor plays out, with enough of the enemies dead from our earlier cheese investments for it to be mostly fair. And up to the rooftop we go. Ordinarily, I would shit-talk the Night Song at this point in the video, but as it is the easiest difficulty, she's got hands. While my party sat being chewed on, nearly ripped to shreds by a single skeletal dog, she soloed the entire boss's health pool, narrowly avoiding that embarrassing game over. Ketheric escapes, Jaheira is part of the gang, and before going down I make one last boring walk all the way to Last Light Inn for supplies. Or rather, one supply. I may not be able to pick up items in the usual way, but Last Light Inn contains the only invisibility potion in Act 2 which is guaranteed sitting around free for the taking. And yes, I came here to kidnap a potion. Come with me, my potion friend, first to Moonrise, then down into the colony. One of the only areas in the entire game where I can actually heal is discovered within. And thank God the flesh rot door this time is no obstacle. Had enough door trauma for one day. The enter prompt is accepted, where it's time to deal with Ketheric Thorm, and using that earlier acquired invisibility potion can start the battle with Nightsong free from her chains, ready to carry us to victory. Because the game's developers understandably expect you to be more powerful than a level 1 completely itemless auto-attacking character at this point, even on the easiest difficulty, doing this battle wouldn't really work. Yet there is one obvious technique I do have available using only the keyboard. I'm talking extreme levels of save scumming. If any of you have a better idea, I'd gladly hear it. Here's what we're doing. When Ketheric lands a hit, I hit F8. When he misses his attack, I hit F5. There's nothing impressive nor skilled about it, and I'm sure some commenters are gonna eat me alive. Bring it on. When save scumming like this is executed, you can let Nightsong dodge every hit using time travel fourth wall breaking bullshit, letting her genuinely solo the guy without my healing or damage at all. To double up on this cheese, I'm reloading her misses too. In likely the dumbest way possible, Ketheric transitions into Merkel by walking into a moonbeam on his own turn. Going into this, I expected Merkel to take ages. Was fully ready to lock in like I did for the earlier Door Saga. But it only took like an hour for this to do, with 52 quick saves added to the file. Has save scumming always been this overpowered? Did play it a little risky though, with everybody on the brink of death by the end, but thankfully Jaheira landed our final blow to clutch victory. Ketheric's stone is obtained, and the healing pod revives the dead to make our way out of Act 2. In the Gith ambush campsite, we're given a rare opportunity to adjust our party members, and by interacting with the beds, our next puzzle begins. These monks are absolutely shrekking us. That's a verb. For them, I have another untested idea. What happens if I join multiplayer at the same moment I go to bed? This! My second character skips the forced sleepy time. It may be stupid, but stupid's all I've got. He makes his way up to where the portal would appear before the Gith arrive. Don't know why exactly this resulted in the camp turning to daytime though, but sleepy time skip strat gets us safely inside the prism for a meeting with the Emperor and his Gith Yankee assassins. Like earlier, these monks too will OTK the entire squad before you could say subscribe to Proxy, and the Emperor is easily the dumbest ally in the game. You ever notice how he likes to spam mind control on guys who specifically have a unique action to break mind control? This guy's genuinely so awful, I don't even trust save scumming to win this. Thus, another new trick is employed. Ghost mode, a glitch pioneered by the great glitch hunter Ruby, and showcased here by Barney. Should you animation cancel your jump by dragging a spell off of your hotbar at the same time your character is supposed to be jumping, the game does not know where you're supposed to be, which completely breaks the NPC's AI as a result. You can actually walk around and attack stuff without consequences. Now obviously, to drag something off of your skill bar, you need a mouse. However, there is another way to enter ghost mode, one that many of you may have even experienced by accident in the Underdark. When you jump at the same time something else explodes to knock you back, this also animation cancels the jump, aka the Mouseless Man's Ghost mode. Back in the Prism, some world designer Larian was kind enough to leave both an explosive caustic bulb and a fire surface in the perfect reachable areas where I can set up ghost mode using the explosion method. A throw on the bulb and a jump at the same time lets Astarion yeet into a chasm, entering ghost mode, as he is now Schrodinger's vampire, both hovering in a chasm and standing right here. As a result, in the next battle with the Emperor, none of these AI opponents know what to do. They just sit here until their turns time out. The rest of my party can attack the Gith without them doing a damn thing, securing another skillless W. To exit ghost mode, you can save and reload the game, or use a waypoint. Upon reloading, the game has Astarion in the initial location before slingshotting him over to the second one, which in my case was the insta-killing chasm. Withers revives my man. Turns out the gold I picked up ages ago did eventually pay off, and like that, having clicked only once total, I enter Act 3 via Campfire Way, where our hunt for netherstones continues, the first of which will not take long. Just inside Worm's Crossing on the guard barracks second floor lies a hill giant strength elixir. It's kidnapped and joins me across the gap towards Gortash's keep. Our halfling buddy Tav is tossed up on inside, and after a brief chat with one handsome young man, we can break the elixir upon the floor. Tav slurps it up, gaining enough strength to kidnap Gortash on out of here. He's given the speedrunner special, Death by Chasm. Barely 5 minutes into Act 3, our second stone is obtained. I knew this guy would be a joke, though Orin is not the same. For my concept of a plan, I would need an invisibility potion and a strength elixir. There is a free invisibility potion sitting in Sorcerer's Sundries, however it is out of range to be grabbed via the throw action. And worse than that, in this area of the game, I don't know of any strength elixirs that are just sitting around in the region like the earlier guard tower provided. The only hope to find these two items that I could think of at all is the random chance for them to appear inside of containers. The search begins in Loroakan's tower, as it's one of the best areas in the game for finding elixirs, and on the upper floor in a chest, there it was. A cloud strength elixir. I kidnapped my chest on out of there, then found a high ground to crack it open like an egg. That was surprisingly simple. All I should need now is an invisibility potion. Because the vault map is located so far away, I was able to quick save before entering, take the portal, and when I enter the area, check all the loot. If I didn't find a potion, I could just reload, and sometimes it would generate a new set of loot within, essentially letting me reset these containers over and over until I hopefully find it. I didn't really understand this mechanic at the time. It was really slow because most of the time the items wouldn't change upon reloading, but I did find the reason out later, and I'll get to that in a bit. But until then, several hours went by without a single invisibility potion appearing. I expanded the search to other areas of the city, hoping to increase my odds. Cazador's place came up empty, as did the Water Queen's house, and a lot of other random locations. After about 5 hours of randomly searching for an invis pot, I was kind of worried I'm maybe looking in the wrong places. To put my mind at ease, I contacted a local detective of Baldur's Gate, Slim X. He did a bit of sleuthing through the game files for me just to see if I was searching in viable areas. And after doing his nerdy shit, he confirmed that this one specific chest should possibly, maybe have a chance to contain an invis pot amongst a massive list of other items. Turns out I was searching the right place the entire time, just been getting really unlucky. A short montage later focused purely on this one chest, and eventually, there she is. Well, I was ready to face Orin at this point. The fact that I forgot I'm not of dark origin says otherwise. The Murder Tribunal questline 2 must be complete, which of course requires murder. The first victim is sniped from stealth just 5 feet away. Ironically, she had a random invisibility potion on her, one that I will never be able to use. Our second target is the chef. He too is executed, and a quick 3-second trip to the basement clears all suspicion of the crime. Moments later, the ballless stalker appears, telling us the password necessary to enter the Murder Tribunal. An elemental sacrifice is made, and with unholy status obtained, we can once again go back to Manslaughter Chasm. Originally in my head, the plan was farm 2 invisibility potions to skip this encounter, but as getting that first one took over 8 hours and the help of a detective, screw that. Surely repeatedly throwing bodies at the problem is the better option. Some of the ballists inside fell to abusive stealth archery, while others would slaughter us like cattle. I found by running all the way out of here to the Rivington region exit, it would revive all of us and heal us to full HP. Basically like running back from the graveyard in a shitty mid-2000s MMORPG. And much like that trash MMORPG, I am too addicted to the game not to do it. In the chasm, Manglin Abbey lived up to her name, seriously mangling us many times over, until she too became known as Mangled Abbey. With her death taking longer than the 100-turn timer which locks the door, the spooky red ghost guy is completely skipped, and the potions accompany us on our journey to Murder Temple. Before entry, the contents of our potion are spilled onto the floor, slurped up within the 5-second rule. Orin is snatched up, carried to a nearby pit outside of the danger zone, and as she begins her dialogue, Zug shoves her from behind. She's so locked into her RP that when the shove fails, I get another chance to do it, and the final netherstone is mine. A short jaunt to the nearby skiff, and the game warns us there's no going back now. Sneakily, we sneak past combat to confront the brain, entering a mandatory dialogue, where every single one of my options are dice rolls. Any of these three choices will require multiple clicks, and to pass through this entire conversation as the devs intended would take 8 total clicks. Now you'd think that would be a major problem, but strangely, in this one instance, there is a way to avoid these dice rolls. When the main player avatar is killed before the confrontation begins, the devs thought it was so important to have your main character be the leader in this scene that they will gladly participate even whilst dead. The funny thing about dead people is oftentimes they cannot roll dice. And in the only mandatory BG3 dialogue with a dice roll in the entire game, you can select these options with the rolls automatically passing in the background as failures, without any clicking at all. As a reward for using this loophole, the Emperor brings us into the Prism, where he is completely broken. Okay, so maybe don't skip those dice rolls, because if you do, you're soft-locked. I did make it this far though, and I was thinking, I could either waste many more hours, or accept that I had to click 8 times. I think you all know which one I picked. A lot of non-important nonsense went down, as this is basically Door Saga 2, but in the end it's the same strat as our earlier Invis Potion one, farming these 2 chests, hoping for a strength elixir. The good thing is, it's here that I figured out how resetting the loot works. Basically, every time you load in a brand new container into the game, it seems to reset the potential loot for a future unloaded game region. For example, in the graveyard, if I dig up any random grave, it spawns in a coffin container. Then when I take the boat and I check the items, they will change. If I reload the game and dig the graves in a different order, then take that boat again, the items keep being re-randomized. It's kind of weird, and I hope I explained that well enough here. Thanks to actually discovering how that mechanic works, it only took a further 20 minutes of attempts at RNG manipulation before a strength elixir appeared inside of this chest. Next we kill off Zug, kidnap the strength elixir off the floor using Tav, go through the usual dead man mode dialogue to skip all the dice, which looks even buggier this time, finally appearing inside the prism with my strength elixir alongside. What is actually sad about this part though, is if I begin the game on any difficulty other than Explorer, you can progress from this point without needing any clicks. But as it turns out, on Explorer difficulty, you cannot shove or throw green NPC allies. Who the hell knew about that game mechanic? The only 3 clicks I'm adding here are spent to increase the game difficulty up to balanced, so I can now kidnap the Emperor, carry him to Orpheus, and get him out of his soft block dialogue. Having him stand beside Orpheus lets the conversation continue, and our halfling Tav becomes a mind flayer. And just like that, we've made it into the High Hall, where Withers is suddenly too much of a jerk to revive the dead. To get through the courtyard, I became a literal stealth god. Don't mean to brag, but look at these moves. Who needs Invis when you're this good? Past a few more enemies and over the heads of some clueless guards, and the brainstem has been reached. Ascended. And for once, I have no intention of beating this encounter. Realistically, I have no tools to work with anymore. Gale is unobtainable in the rule set, and I did actually attempt to restart the entire challenge run as Origin Gale, only to discover he gets killed off at Moonrise when you don't eat any shoes. So for the first time ever on this channel, the brain is the winner. These challenges are about the journey, the struggle, and finding new ways to love the game again. I cannot beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only the keyboard, but at least I did finish a video in the year of 2026. As always, I want to thank all of my channel members, all of my subscribers, anybody who got this far. Until next year, hopefully that is a joke. Proxy out. Do 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 do.